You're listening to The Gary Harris Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Workers at state non-union auto plants signing cards to set a union vote. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
The Gary Harris Show. UCM host Tider Insider TV, Crimson Tide Kickoff, play-by-play for Alabama sports, and sports director for WVUA 23. It's time for the Gary Harris Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Gary Harris Show for this Thursday, March 28, 2024. I'm your host, Gary Harris. It's a little after 9 a.m., and we're ready to go the next couple of hours here on the program. I got Justin Jones right there on the other side of the glass, manning the controls, taking your phone calls on the First and Main Condominiums hotline in this first hour at 205-342-9904. We'll run down the show and get into some stories that are making news in just a moment. But first, I need to tell you, as always, Alabama Credit Union brings you this first hour, Alabama's best credit union. And I tell you what, I can attest to that. I'm a member. You should become a member as well. It's just like a family, really. They just had their annual meeting this past Monday night at the Tuscaloosa River Market. You can find out more about membership and all the benefits of Alabama Credit Union at alabamacu.com. That's alabamacu.com. Also, you can carry your Roll Tide pride with the official credit card of the Alabama Alumni Association. Apply now at alabamacu.com. Alabama Credit Union, loans for real life. Some rules and restrictions do apply. See if you're eligible for membership, then join today and feel good about your money. Ample extra change in your pocket. All right, at 9:30 this morning, Ryan Hennessy, NBC 13 sports director out of Birmingham. He's in Los Angeles covering the Crimson Tide. He's going to join us from La La Land to give us the latest on Alabama, talk about how many fans are out there. I've heard there's been a pretty good fan contingent that has flown out to Los Angeles for this one. We'll talk with Ryan Hennessy from L.A. at 9:30. Then at 10:30, my pal Jeff Spiegel, longtime sports anchor and host of The Zone at ABC 3340. He'll be with us at 10:30. Also, we'll hear from Nate Oates. Alabama basketball practiced yesterday at the Crypto.com arena and had their media session with Coach Oates. And I believe it was Mark Sears. I know it was Mark Sears, and I don't remember who the other players were.
It was Mark Sears, Nick Pringle, and Jaron Stevenson.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, because Jaron Stevenson, interesting situation there with him, obviously. His mother was a star for the North Carolina women's basketball team. He grew up 10 minutes from the campus. Obviously, was recruited by North Carolina. He reclassified. He really could still be a senior in high school, but he signed with Alabama. Now he's playing against his school, the school he grew up pulling for. So that's an interesting story. But we'll have some audio from Nate Oates and possibly the players as well from their press conference yesterday. And also we'll get to that Nick Sheridan audio that we did not run yesterday. The Alabama offensive coordinator spoke with reporters earlier this week following practice. And then today, Alabama scrimmages, and Kalen DeBoer is going to speak with the media following that scrimmage. So tons of football and men's basketball. Also, keep in mind, baseball begins its series tonight at home in the SEC against South Carolina. They're going to play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week. So you'll have basketball playing out in Los Angeles. That game is scheduled to tip off around 8:39 Central Time. But that's, it's the NCAA tournament, so we'll see. Also, Alabama baseball at home tonight against South Carolina. So a busy sports night ahead for Alabama fans, no doubt about that. So we're focused on the NCAA tournament. As I told you yesterday, I've still got 13 of the Sweet 16 teams. I've got 13 of them still alive, including my entire Final Four, which does include Alabama, UConn, Houston, and Purdue as my Final Four. I'd be interested in hearing your Final Four. If you want to give us a call and let us know who you've got in the Final Four, how your Sweet 16 is looking. The bracket for you, Justin said in his main bracket, he's got 10 of the 16. I've got 13 of the 16. How many do you have? Let us know on the First and Main Condominiums hotline at 205-342-9904. On the national scene, did you see Brandon Miller's game last night, Justin?
I did not, but I saw your tweet about it, and I saw
it's one of his better games, and that's saying something because his games are getting better and better now. He is, since January, he's at like 18.5 points a game, 5 rebounds, several assists, but last night he really, really, really had a beauty. He went for 31 points, 6 rebounds and assists, shot 58% from the field, 54.3% from three, 100% from the free throw line. The 31 points helped lead the Hornets to a win over a very good team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he's just getting better and better. He had 7 3-pointers last night, which is the most he's had in his career. And he had one of those throwdown dunks where he took off from, like 12 feet from the basket and tomahawked it in. But he's playing really, really well and going to be a star. That's the reason he was the number 2 overall pick. You knew he was just going to be at Alabama for 1 year. You just wish that in that 1 year they had made it to the Final Four. That's what you wish. Am I making things disappear now? There it is. I knew I had a bottle of water in here, Justin. I'm like, where did it go? It was hidden behind the monitor. But I thought I was turned into a magician here. But Brandon Miller is going to be a star. So we're getting geared up for a busy weekend and a lot to talk about. But sticking with the NCAA tournament, as I said yesterday, I've got 13 of the final 16, and I'm kicking myself. The only school I'm really kicking myself on was picking McNeese to make a little bit of a run, But because if I had gone Gonzaga like I should have from the get-go, then I would have 14 of the 16. And listen, Baylor could have easily beaten Clemson now. I mean, I'm not kicking myself on that one. Give Clemson credit, but that game went right down to the wire, and that was 2 of my misses. And my other miss, you can't kick yourself on this one, Justin. I mean, I still think Kentucky should be in the Sweet 16. You know what I mean? I still think they should be there. So the fact that they're not is that's why Coach Cal's in the crosshairs right now. Even though he's going to keep his job, people are pretty upset with what's going on there. So I miss Kentucky. I had them getting the Sweet 16. I had, like I said, I don't even want to admit I had McNeese in the Sweet 16, and I had Baylor in the Sweet 16. All of the other ones I got right. But we start winding it down tonight. We've got games tonight, tomorrow night, and then over the weekend, and by Sunday evening, we will have a Final Four, and they'll be headed out to Phoenix, Arizona. So for Alabama, the question is, if they make the Final Four, my guess is this time, Justin, they would come back. Because if they win on Saturday, if they win tonight and they win Saturday, they wouldn't play again in Phoenix until the next Saturday. So, Justin, I know you're taking a call in there, but I was just talking about if Alabama makes the Final Four, my guess is this time they would come back from Los Angeles to Tuscaloosa because, as I said, you wouldn't play again in Phoenix until the next Saturday because it'd be Saturday, Monday. So that would be an entire week. So my guess is if you were to make it to the Final Four, you finish up playing on Saturday, you fly back to Tuscaloosa, you get in sometime late Saturday evening, and then you're in T-Town for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Probably wouldn't fly out until Wednesday. If you're going to play on that Saturday. So you got to win 2 games first to make it even matter. But it's going to be interesting tonight, obviously. And if you win tonight, you go to Saturday, and you're going to get the Clemson, Arizona winner. You played both of those teams already, so there'll be a lot of familiarity. It's going to be fun tonight out in Los Angeles. All right, let's jump out on the First and Main Condominiums hotline and welcome Tom into the program. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Gary. How are you?
Doing great.
Is Phoenix like 500 miles closer to us than L.A.?
It's closer. I don't know the exact. Justin, look that up if you can. I don't even think it's 500 miles. I think it's from L.A. to Phoenix is shorter than 500 miles. But yeah, it's Phoenix is in Arizona, which is before you get to California. See the distance. See the distance between Phoenix and L.A. Justin. Justin's looking it up, Tom. Go ahead.
It's about 400.
400. It's about 400, so you weren't off by much, Tom.
Yeah, I just wondered. I remember flying into there from L.A., and I couldn't remember if it was like a couple of hours of what the deal was. I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
but,
it's a little more than that. You were right. It's Justin says it's about 400 miles. So, but yeah, I guess again, think about it like this. It made
Is it
sense.
a time change? Is it a time change?
I'm into Phoenix, and I can't remember if it's Mountain or Pacific.
I think it's Mountain. I really do. I think that
I think it might be one of those deals where it's a certain time zone part of the year. Check that, because I think Phoenix may not change. They may just stay one time the whole year.
I think they're Mountain. No,
which means if that's the case, they would be Mountain half of the year and Pacific half of the year.
Arizona is in Mountain.
Arizona's Mountain is what Justin says. So they're one behind LA.
Okay, yeah. So it's not as harsh of time changes like going to the West Coast.
No, it's not. It wouldn't be as bad. But as I said, with Alabama last week, they played on a Sunday and turned around again and played on a Thursday. It made sense not to come back. But if they win tonight and Saturday, they wouldn't play again until the next Saturday. So as I said, my guess is they would come back to Tuscaloosa and spend a few days here before going out to Phoenix.
Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Braves getting rained out today against the Phillies in the opener. That's disappointing.
What fool decides it's better to play in Philadelphia in March than it is Atlanta? I mean, you got to be really. Can you sit down and go, how can we look stupid?
Yeah, Major League Baseball scheduling. You're right. If that game was in Atlanta today, they'd be plenty of sunshine. And
they'd be playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what do you make of the Braves coming out of spring training?
I didn't pay too much attention to them. I think they're the favorite in the East. Now, what are they going to do in the postseason? I don't know, but I still think they're the favorite to win the division, ahead of the Phillies, ahead of everybody else. Just based on the roster makeup, the way they have it, what they were able to do last year. So I think the Braves are the favorite to win the division.
And the Mets are rebuilding, aren't they? They're full blown rebuild.
Well, let me show you how the Mets work. You followed it long enough. The Mets are pretty much always in rebuild, because what happens is they go out and they spend $1 billion and they bring in all these high price players without any thought process to how it's actually going to blend in with their club. And they sign a lot of guys, these pitchers that are 36, 37 years old, and they've got this mega payroll, and they say, all right, we're going to have an unbelievable team. And then by July, they're 15 games under 500, and they start selling them off and they start their rebuild. That just seems to be Steve Cohen's got a ton of money, but that organization doesn't seem to get it. They seem to never, ever just be developing their organization. They're just always adding high-priced free agents, and it doesn't work. That's what it seems like to me with the Mets anyway. It's kind of gotten that way with the Yankees.
Everything that I've read, the Braves are coming out of spring training pretty much 100% healthy.
No, that's what I said. They're the favorites to me. I mean, they've got a great roster with guys that are still young and are locked up to long-term contracts. So yeah, I like the Braves a lot. I think the whole thing with the Braves is the way it's been since the run they started in 91 with Cox is, what are they going to do in the postseason? All these great teams and they've still just won, of course, great to have 2 World Series, but they've been really good now for going on 35 years, and they still don't have but 2 world championships.
Really quick, not to interrupt your conversation there, at message from Willie on the Western Slope let us know Arizona doesn't observe daylight savings time.
Oh, that's what I said. Okay.
Yeah, so right now they're the same time as Los
Angeles.
Yeah,
so I was right. They're the same time the whole year. So near that time they do split between Mountain and Pacific, because they don't do daylight savings time. So that's kind of what I said I thought was the case. Half the year they'd be 2 hours behind us, and half the year they'll be 1 hour behind us. They stay the same time all year round.
So what are they now?
Right now, they would be
1 hour.
They would be one, yeah, because this is daylight savings time, and they would be still in standard time.
Yeah, we moved the clocks toward them when we did on spring.
So they don't move the clocks.
Anyway, it don't matter.
So right now it's 7 something in Los Angeles. It's the same time. They're in the same time zone now. So Arizona's technically Pacific.
Okay, so they just stay there. So they won't move in the fall. They'll still stay. Okay, yeah, but they don't change their time. It is kind of a little bit confusing.
Thanks, Gary.
All right, thanks, Tom. It's 9:16 here on the Gary Harris Show. The YMCA of Tuscaloosa, I'm going over there to work out today at 11:30, by the way, when I finish up here with my show. The Y is ready when you're ready for the Y. It's sitting there, that beautiful facility at 2300 13th Street with all the great equipment, including brand new cardio equipment, state of the art. I'll be on it. Like I said, I'll be on it in a little while. Great staff led by the general manager, Jeff Knox. Got all kinds of experience in the fitness business. Training staff, great personal training available for yourself, or you can work out with your significant other or a partner, however you want to do it. They'll do single sessions or dual sessions. Tons of fitness classes for men and women, and the Silver Sneaker program for seniors as well. The YMCA of Tuscaloosa, 2300 13th Street. Get by and see them today. We'll be back with more of the Gary Harris Show. As I said, we've got Nate Oates from yesterday. We've also still got that Alabama offensive coordinator Nick Sheridan audio. And at 9:30, we'll go to Los Angeles and visit with Ryan Hennessy from NBC 13. We'll be right back after this.
This season of Alabama football on Tide 100.9, brought to you by Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Just a few minutes away, where you can be a winner too.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. Its daily update on Bama sports and is brought to you by CB&S Bank. Bank anywhere, at any time with CB&S Bank's digital solutions. Managing your finances has never been so easy. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Today on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we'll be joined by Alabama broadcaster Chris Stewart as he previews what's coming up for the Crimson Tide in the Sweet 16 tonight against North Carolina.
Alabama's struggled against quality bigs, but that's again where I think the experience they've gained by playing a schedule as tough as they have is going to be a major help to them in this tournament and in this particular matchup against UNC. There's, they've played the big names, they've played the big men, but everybody you face from now on, is of the highest quality and playing with confidence as well. So there's no reason Alabama shouldn't be the same way and play with confidence and hopefully play at a very high level, which will allow them to advance to an Elite Eight for the only second time in school history.
I'll have more in moments.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations. You could say we know a thing or two about tradition. We've been family, community, and financially strong since we began in 1906. Being a team player is part of our culture. That's why at CB&S Bank, we're proud to sponsor the University of Alabama Athletics and prouder to take the field or court with you. Visit cbsbank.com today. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Join us this evening for Crimson Tide men's basketball in the Sweet 16 against North Carolina. Our radio coverage from Los Angeles will start at 7:30 p.m.
Bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today, the high 67. Clear and cool tonight, the low 40. Tomorrow and Saturday, the warming trend continues. A good supply of sunshine both days. The high tomorrow is 72, the high Saturday in the upper 70s at 78. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 52 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You see him on WVUA 23 covering sports and on Tider Insider TV on Tuesday nights. Don't miss a minute of the Gary Harris Show. Weekdays from 9 to 11 on Tide 100.9.
All right, 9:21. Welcome back into the Gary Harris Show, and we'll go out to Los Angeles in the next segment. Right now, we're going to get to some of Nate Oates' press conference yesterday in L.A. At the Crypto.com Arena ahead of tonight's game. The head coach met with the media, talked about the team, and gave an update on Latrell Wrightsell Jr., the injured guard for Alabama. We're going to run several minutes of that. We're not going to run it all, but we're going to hear from the head coach, Nate Oates, right now.
Yeah, our guys are excited. I thought they're good practice, locked in. I mean, North Carolina's one of the best teams in the country, number one seed, deservedly so. They got a lot of talented guys. We've got our hands full. Our defense is going to have to be a lot better than it's been most of the year. I thought we had a good defensive game against Grand Canyon. Our offense wasn't very good. We're going to need both of them together. playing well to be able to beat North Carolina. But I do like where our guys' heads are at. Latrell's being reevaluated by the medical staff every day, and he's basically on a day-to-day basis now. So I'm not sure if he'll be available or not until they let us know tomorrow. So other than him, we're healthy. Obviously, and Davin's out. But you know, I think our guys are locked in. It should be a fun game. North Carolina likes to get up and down the floor, as do we. So it's going to be a pretty fast-paced game. I would think we're going to have to do a good job on Baycott. You know, we've played some of the best bigs in the country, so we've had some experience. You know, we played Edey, Ballo, Kalkbrenner back-to-back, played P.J. Hall, Clemson, played, you know, Tolu Smith at Mississippi State. I think, you know, we've played some of these bigger guys. Some we've guarded better than others, but we're going to have a plan for Baycott. And then obviously R.J. Davis is one of the best scorers in the country. You know, him and Sears, I think, are 11th and 13th. They're like right there together, and he's super talented. So you know, you can't just have a game plan for Baycott. You got a plan for Davis. Cormac Ryan hit 7 threes against us. He was 7 of 9 from 3 in the tournament against us when he's at Notre Dame. Ingram just went 5 of 6 from 3 last game. So they've got multiple guys that can shoot it, score it inside. That's why they're number 1 seed. So we've got our hands full. We know it, but I think our guys are locked in and ready to go.
All right, we'll begin here in the second row. The AP. Oh, sorry. We'll move to the first row.
Nick Kelly, Tuscaloosa News. Nate Milwaukee, or Diabate, I should say, had, some really good minutes for you guys last game. Essentially, has he earned more playing time, or what do you think of the minutes he's done so far for you guys?
Yeah, no, he has. He's been tough, physical. His attitude's been great. You know, we always know if we put him in, we can get some toughness. So we got to find a way to get him some minutes. We like to have shooting on the floor, and that's not one of his strong suits. He was shooting it well in practice today, but, you know, he's easier to pair with, like, Grant at the 5 maybe when you get, you know, then you still only have, like, one non-shooter on the floor. But, no, like, his toughness, physicality, just kind of his will to win, you know. Like, yeah, he's probably earned some more minutes, but he's got to figure out ways to get them. And, you know, based on how Reitzel is, and, you know, Reitzel's been cleared to play before and then not been able to play that many minutes. So based on Reitzel, even if he can play, if he doesn't play that many minutes, there's going to be some minutes available for Mo to be able to pick up.
We'll go next to the third row.
Hey, Ryan Hennessy, NBC 13 in Birmingham. 2, if I could. First one, today was the day 5 years ago that you were announced officially as the head coach of Alabama. To look back and just kind of talk about your 5 years and how special it's been, obviously the contract extension, and what's this meant to not just you but your family.
And then you realize that March 27th it was, huh?
You were announced that day, and then you were introduced the day after, I believe.
1 week after my oldest daughter's birthday. She didn't like wasn't a very good birthday present for her to move her from Buffalo to Alabama, but it's turned out to be pretty good. She loves it in Alabama now. Lexi's a sophomore at the university. We, you know, Lexi and Joss will be here for the game tomorrow. We've come to love Alabama, and I think we've gotten the program turned around. I think, you know, we've been able to do what Greg hired us to do. That's get this basketball program on a national level, like about every other sports program at Alabama is. So we still haven't gotten to a Final Four. That, to me, that's kind of the next step. So got to win tomorrow to get a chance to win another game to get to the Final Four. So, you know, making a Final Four is not easy. You got to beat some good teams. You got to upset some teams. So, you know, we've somebody gave me a good stat the other day. I think there's been 4 teams in the country that have been in 3 out of the last 4 Sweet 16s. I think this is accurate. I think it's us, Gonzaga, who's made like 9 straight, which is crazy. I think it's us, Gonzaga, Houston, who we had a series with, and then Creighton. So pretty good company. I think over the 5 years since we were hired, we've gotten this program to a level that's what Alabama sports should have their athletics at. Now, we got to make another step. So we got to get this team locked in, really ready to go against Carolina. But I'm super grateful to Greg and Dr. Bell and Chancellor St. Jean and the whole board. They've been super supportive. I'm appreciative that they gave me a new contract and want to keep me around in this business. Sometimes they don't want to keep you around very, very long, but I think we've done well enough that they want to keep us here and keep this thing rolling.
And my second one is, we were out there, I believe it was 2 years ago in San Diego. When you see Cormac Ryan, I know you mentioned it, but oh boy, yeah, that was
that was not one of our better NCAA tournament games. He killed us. I think he was 7-9 from three. I think he scored 29 points on us. That was the game that Quinterly blew his ACL out in the first couple minutes, so that it didn't. He was playing really well. It didn't go well for us. I think it was the only time I've been at Alabama that we haven't made a Sweet 16, that they've had an NCAA tournament. So they didn't have the tournament my first year with COVID, and then these last 4 years we made a Sweet 16. 3 out of those years that was the one. So we tried to recruit him when he went in the portal. If a kid destroys you like that, it'd be good to add him to the roster. We were not successful in our recruitment of him. I picked another pretty good basketball program, and here we are. So we've got to try to figure out how to stop him a second time.
All right, good stuff there from Nate Oates yesterday in Los Angeles, and it kind of fitting that Ryan Hennessy asked the last 2 questions, and he is going to be our guest next. We're going to go out to La La Land and visit with the NBC.
That's 800-382-4752. What do you have to lose? Call 800-382-4752. Again, 800-382-4752.
Life doesn't wait for when your finances are in perfect order. It just happens. But no matter what surprises come your way, Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages, and auto loans. They offer an easy application process and fast decisions so you can stay focused on feeling good about whatever life brings your way. Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans.
$1 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
As much as Innisfree has evolved, it will always be that place to escape and have a good time. Whether it's for a game day weekend, to reminisce on college days, or to create new memories, if you're looking for a good time, there's only one thing to do. Head to the Free at 1925 University Boulevard. And don't forget about the Lucky Lunch Meat and 3 special. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Get a meat and 3 vegetables for just $8.49. Or for a lighter appetite, try the Lucky Lunch soup, salad, or sandwich combo. I'll see you at the Free.
Follow the Crimson Tide on their journey to another national championship. Touchdown, Alabama! On your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Like another perfect day. I love LA. We love it. I love LA.
All right, yeah. La La Land. And it is time to go to Los Angeles and visit with NBC 13 sports director Ryan Hennessy, who made the trip from Birmingham to L.A. You just heard him earlier when we were running some of the Nate Oates press conference from yesterday, asking a couple of questions, and now he joins us, and we appreciate him because it's just 7:30 out there in Los Angeles joining this morning. Good morning, Ryan. What's going on, buddy?
Gary, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for having me on.
Good to have you on. What's the vibe like? Tell me, you were at practice yesterday, around the players, obviously at the press conference with Coach Oates. We don't know what is going on with Latrell Wrightsell Jr. I'll get the latest from you on him in a moment, but just the vibe of the team and the atmosphere there at the Crypto.com arena.
Vibe's good. Opportunities right in front of him, Gary. I mean, if you look at it, you got an Elite Eight on the line, which obviously we all know we've been to once before. Tough team across on the other side, though. I'm looking at ESPN matchup predictor. It's got 50.3% UNC, 49.7. I don't know if it's that neck and neck. If I were to guess who's going to pull out with the win, but you know what happens in March. I mean, last time you and I talked, I was at Stanford's first round matchup, and we said anything could happen, and Auburn gets bounced in the first round. So anything can happen. Vibes are good. We're just going to have to wait and see tonight.
What about, and I know you're working, but you haven't probably been able to get out and do a lot of social stuff, but just fan wise, do you see a lot of Alabama fans around the hotels, around the arena? How do you think the fan support is going to be tonight?
I haven't seen a lot of fans. I'll just be honest with you. I'm going to the team hotel today to do a sit down with Greg Byrne one-on-one. That's around 11 this time. So I'll have a little bit more of a gauge, but I haven't really been. I've been straight to the team hotel or from the media hotel to the stadium. Not a lot, of fans that I've seen so far. I mean, we were talking about it though. LA's got, what is it, opening day today? They got so many other things going on. Is this the talk of the town? Maybe not in LA where it would be in a Birmingham or somewhere else, but I think regardless, they understand the opportunity, and Tide fans are a little upset with the West Coast poll here, but it is what it is, and history's on the line.
All right, Latrell Wrightsell Jr., coach saying yesterday that, they won't know until today. I understand, and you were there at the media viewing period at practices today, that he wasn't out there, at least at that time. You hearing anything from, folks around the program? What's your feeling on whether or not he'll be able to go tonight?
Well, it was, Gary, this is the best part of yesterday, was the fact that Nate Oates said that he's going to be day-to-day, and then Nick Pringle comes up to the podium and says, he's going to play. I'm not worried about it. So, that was kind of the story of the day. It was Pringle's the doctor diagnosing what's going to happen. So, according to Pringle, he's playing. According to Nate Oates, he's day-to-day. I don't know what the deal is, but they showed pictures of him practicing after the media left. They only had a 15-minute window for the media. No, we didn't spot him out there. And then immediately they shut the media out, and then they released pictures of him practicing on the court. So, I don't know what that means. I'm not trying to read into it because it's a serious head situation that he's had history with. But there's no doubt about it. You and I both know people that have been watching basketball and know that they're better with him on the court than without. So I'm hoping that the Tide are full strength going into this game.
Ryan Hennessy, NBC 13, joining us from Los Angeles ahead of Alabama's Sweet 16 matchup tonight. The number 4 Crimson Tide taking on the number 1 seed North Carolina. Did you get to cover the North Carolina press conference?
I did. It was interesting. They sent out. I didn't go into the locker room. We have Julian Mitchell, my coworker, went into the locker room for the players, and I got to stay and talk to the coach. And a lot of respect on their side. They sent out Baycott and Davis just to talk, and I asked about Mark Sears, and Mark Sears against the other point guard is really good, and they have a lot of respect for each other. This is going to be point guard against point guard. It's going to be one heck of a matchup. I'm looking right now, 21 points apiece, Davis and Sears average. So, they're going to go blow for blow. It's a little bit different of a style of ball that Sears plays compared to Davis, but that's going to be get your popcorn ready for that one. And obviously the down low situation, can Pringle rise to the occasion? We know that Nelson's kind of struggled down low. Some other players have stepped up, but I think this is a Pringle-Baycott matchup. I was talking to some media guys and said, why not just start him and see what he's got? And someone mentioned, they made a good point, why change the starting lineup in the third game of the NCAA tournament? But I don't know. To you, Gary, do you think it's Pringle's biggest moment of his college career?
I do, and I'm dead on with what you said too. I think RJ Davis and Sears, both great players, but I think that they're going to both do their thing. So I don't want to say cancel each other out, but I think they'll both play well. But I think for Alabama, the key is, can they defend Baycoat? Because North Carolina can get it up and down the floor too, and they can shoot it. But if the game is tight, they can also just slow it down and just throw it down into the low post. And if you double Baycott, he's great at kicking it out to an open shooter. If you don't double him, he can be dynamic around the basket. So, the best case scenario for Alabama is to be able to single guard him. And you're right, Grant Nelson can't do it. No offense to Grant, but he'll get eaten alive. I don't think he's just set. He's made to play that kind of game. But Pringle's got the athleticism and the size to do it. So, no, I'm with you. I think if Pringle plays well, primarily on defense, but they can help him out with some dunks on offense. But if he can guard Baycoat and somewhat limit Baycoat, I think Alabama's got a good chance to win the game.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, Pringle's rising the occasion. They sent him out as the top 3 to talk to the media. I think they know that this is a huge game. I asked Nate Oates that. He said everyone's got to step up. And the big key is they had a foul trouble. I mean,
got to
you're
quit
talking
fouling.
about
Yep.
Yeah, and dumb fouls too, Gary. I mean, just unnecessary off the ball fouls. Nelson's been doing that here and there. Stevenson, that's a big step up. They sent Stevenson out as well as one of the members to talk to the media. So I think Oates is trying to send a message to the big guys like, this is your time. Who cares about what you did in the past? Step up on the biggest stage. But I do want to mention one thing, which is absolutely hilarious. I didn't realize. I'm looking at the game notes. I'm looking at the team. I don't watch North Carolina on a daily basis. And I feel like I'm getting a flashback. 2 years ago, I was in San Diego covering Alabama. I think you know where I'm going here. There's a guy named Cormac Ryan. They just won the first 4 game.
Lit him up.
And they were with Notre Dame. Lit them up, 29 points. I was talking to Chris Stewart. I said, Chris, we can't get rid of this guy. We can't get rid of this guy. Now he's on North Carolina. And he was their nightmare. I asked Nate Oates about it. So look out for number 3. He's dangerous.
Yeah, maybe he used up all his points 2 years ago. Because you're right, he could be one of those X factors. And if Reitzel can't go, on the other side, that impacts Alabama's offense because he's outstanding. We did mention Grant Nelson, and like I said, it's not his fault. I just don't think he's that kind of player. He's not a low post banger. But Ryan, they need to get something out of him offensively. I mean, these first 2 games in the NCAA tournament, he's just giving them nothing.
Yeah, and I think that's like you talked about. Maybe Cormac Ryan gave up all his points. Maybe Grant Nelson has some points to give us or Alabama in general because this has been a poor showing so far. The guy can shoot the 3. They struggled last week hitting it. So, hopefully this is the time for him. I mean, and Nate Oates knows his specialty, and let's see it. But, is he going to be able to stretch the floor, or is he going to be stuck down low? And if they get into foul trouble, they're going to have to lean on him. So that's what I'm worried about is if, let's say, a Pringle gets in foul trouble, then they're going to have to go to Grant Nelson more. But usually it's been opposite. Grant Nelson's been in foul trouble, and they couldn't even have him on the floor. So there's 2 things here. Hit your shot, stay out of foul trouble, and then when you're on the floor, defend against one of the best big men in the country. I mean, Gary, there's a number 1 next to this team's name for a reason. They're no joke. So this is a tough one. A lot of people believe North Carolina, but you know how March is.
Well, you've got 2 teams that what's interesting to me about this is the parallels between the 2 schools in different sports. And what I mean by that is North Carolina, Ryan, is a true basketball blue blood. I mean, they're as blue as it gets, not just because they wear powder blue uniforms, but that is their sport, and they are one of the premier programs in the history of college basketball. Alabama's a good program. Alabama has had some really good highlights in basketball. But Alabama's a football school, and Alabama's football program is as blue blood as it gets, but North Carolina has a good football program. But they're kind of opposite in the sense that North Carolina is a basketball school with a good football program, and Alabama's a football school with a good basketball program. But Alabama has a chance tonight to take that step, to get 1 step closer to the Final Four where they've never been. So I think that's kind of neat that these 2 teams, these 2 programs parallel each other, but in different sports. But their basketball program at Alabama is no joke, and the football program at North Carolina is no joke, but that's not what they're known for. Carolina's known for basketball, and Alabama's known for football.
No, I agree. And I actually asked Hubert Davis about that. I said, this is clearly a basketball or a football school in Alabama, but what do you think about the way that they've done things on the basketball court? He said, in the short time that Coach Oates has been here, it's been phenomenal what he's done. His scheme, he doesn't hide it. He doesn't hide from the 3. He relies on that, but he does a great job. And that's kind of why I'm doing a sit down with Byrne today. I wanted to kind of pick his brain on why he picked Greg Byrne or Nate Oates, because 5 years ago today he was introduced. Gary. So there's a lot of history here going into this game. It's kind of a perfect storm coming off the contract extension, and huge opportunity. I mean, and every time I bring up, I try to kind of go back with Nate Oates yesterday and say, hey, it's been 5 years. What do you think? He gave me a little bit of, it's been great here, but he keeps talking about not the Elite Eight, but the Final Four. The Final Four. You change the way you look at Alabama basketball if you get to that Final Four. And Bama's not done it yet, and that's what he's got his eyes on. Did he expect it with this team? No, I think he thought last year was the team. But you know what? You're here now. Why not? Why not go farther? Tonight they can go farther than they went with Brandon Miller and that team last year.
Yeah.
And that's impressive to me.
Yeah, and boy, you listen to that press conference, Nate Oates is not shy about mentioning the Final Four. It's like I talk about all the time on my show. Alabama's had a number of Final Four teams, or teams that were good enough to go to the Final Four that didn't make it. I don't really see this as a Final Four caliber team, but that's the great thing about it, Ryan, is sometimes there are teams that make it to the Final Four that you didn't think were going to go to the Final Four. I thought last year's team, especially the Herb Jones team, let me say that. Let me back to I thought the Herb Jones team was going to the Final Four for sure. And I still think they should have beat UCLA. Last year's team, as talented as it was with, the off the field situation or off the court situation, and then with Brandon Miller being banged up going into the tournament, I still thought they were a Final Four team. But when I sat there in Birmingham and watched them play 2 games, I didn't have a good feel about this team. And against San Diego State, it played out that way. But this team, I'm not saying they're playing on house money because they want to win tonight. It's not like they're going to be happy if they lose. But this isn't a team that, even as though they've won a lot of games and, have played a lot of big-time opponents, I just don't think this is a Final Four caliber team on paper, Ryan. But you know what? They don't play them on paper, right? And this team's got a chance to get it done.
Well, and if you look at last year's team, you make a good point. They were dinged up and stuff, but you also have to look at who they lost to. San Diego State went to the final game. So, at first, when you're an Alabama fan and you see them lose to a San Diego State, you say, who? Come on, how do we lose that with this team? But that was a good team. You got to look at, to me, and I'm not taking a shot here at Auburn, but you look like the Yale loss. Like, that was unacceptable.
No, that's bad.
The San Diego State loss, okay, it makes more sense. And then to go back and say you're on house money and this team, to me, this team wasn't a Final Four team earlier in the year when you and I would sit next to each other watching the games. There was ups and downs with this team. But was FAU a Final Four team last year? That's what's beauty of this sport. So I think that anything can happen, and Nate Oates just needs to fire off literally. And you think about it, I was talking to guys in the hotel yesterday. These guys are here that cover Clemson, and I know them from football, and they're here. So if you win tomorrow or tonight, Saturday, you could potentially be playing Clemson for a trip to the Final Four. If I was Nate Oates, I'd take that all day, Gary.
Well, how about the fact that you've got Alabama in the Sweet 16, and they've played 5 of the teams that are in the Sweet 16. Pretty remarkable. And they hadn't beaten any of them. They lost to Tennessee twice. They lost to Clemson. They lost to Arizona. They lost to Creighton. And they lost to Purdue. But as we alluded to, they've played these kind of teams all year long. What do you think of that first matchup tonight there at Crypto.com Arena between Clemson, the 6th seed, and number 2 Arizona?
Well, it's a lot of the nod goes to Arizona.
Sure.
And a lot of people want that rematch with Love back playing his old team if that would match up on Saturday. But I think it's like 7 points or something like that. I was talking to one of the reporters, and he said, that's the biggest, that's the biggest line that they have. But, like I said, who knows? Clemson, Clemson's known as a football school, but look at what they could potentially do. So I don't know. Anything could happen. I think this is one of the more interesting regions out in L.A. There's some fun ones other places, but a lot of people complain about everything's chalk. And I'm like, we got a 4 seed and then we got Clemson out here in LA. So not everything's so chalk. And I think the games starting today are going to be great going into the weekend. But Arizona seems like the favorite. They're going to travel well here. They're obviously the only kind of West Coast team out here. So pretty much a home game for them, but anything can happen in March. I know I say that a lot, but anything can happen.
All right, your prediction tonight for Alabama and North Carolina.
I gotta go with Bama, right, Gary? I'm doing we're doing a special at 6:30 at WBTM, and I'm supposed to make predictions, and I'm like, I'm going Bama by 5. They hit their threes. I think it's closer than people think, and I want to see Alabama really accept that they're a defensive team because they're going to have to play defense if they want to. Obviously, I know that's a no-brainer, but they're going to have to play like they played, scrappy, aggressive. They had a foul trouble. If the shots aren't hitting, they found a way to win last week. Granted, it wasn't against a team of the caliber of North Carolina, but can you do a little bit of both? Can you do a little both and meet in the middle? And I think Nate Oates is saying, guys, we can do this. And the formula works. If you see them hit threes and they don't shoot it, what does Nate Oates say? Keep shooting, because 3's more than 2, and it adds up. So I think that they're going to be shooting a lot, trying to get their rhythm going, and I think they beat North Carolina and head to the Elite Eight for the second time in program history.
Well, I'm with you. I've got Alabama in my bracket going to the Final Four, so I can't pick against them. Now, let me ask you this, and you may not know, but you are out there, and you're going to talk with Byrne today, so you can probably ask him. Best case scenario. Let's assume Alabama wins tonight, and then they beat either Arizona or Clemson on Saturday, go to the Final Four. Love the move to stay out there for, the trip from Spokane to Los Angeles, because they played Sunday and turn around and play on Thursday. If they win Saturday, they won't play in Phoenix until the next Saturday. So I'm assuming they'll probably fly back to Tuscaloosa if they are in that advantageous position. Have you heard anything on what their travel plans will be if they do win the next 2 games?
I think the SID would say some kind words to me if I asked them, hey, what happens if you guys are in the Final Four already? But no, it's a good question, Gary, because right before I got on, I was on Twitter, and someone posted what Estrada has been doing. They've been in the hotel for 9 days, I believe I saw. It's a long time on the road. It's a long time. And granted, I think a lot of people would trade the spot that Estrada's in right now to be in the, Sweet 16, but that is a long time. Being on the West Coast, I mean, if they were back on the East Coast, maybe they would have came home for a day or two and went back. So it's a long time to be out here. I'm not sure what the deal is. I mean, like I said, the Final Four would it be Saturday, Monday, right? So that would
Saturday, Monday. They wouldn't play again until another week. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll come back, Ryan.
So I mean, come on, Alabama's got their own plane. They'll fly back and they'll fly back out there. But still, look at that though, West Coast again. So I know one thing, Gary. I was told I'm staying out here if they win, and we're going straight to Phoenix. So how about that?
Wow. Well, you got selfish reasons other than wanting to see the team that you cover win. You get to stay out there and you'll have a few days in LA and Phoenix. Yeah, that's I got you. All right, man. Well, listen, great interview. I've enjoyed it. Tell the listeners, you're going to have coverage out there when they can catch you, and you can give the social media information as well.
Yeah, so we have Julian Mitchell. He started a few months ago. He's my coworker. Him, me, and Adam Watts, our photographer. So we have 3 people out here. We've been doing the morning show live. Julian's been doing the morning show. I've been doing the evenings. And we're actually going to be doing a 30-minute special, just us, right before the game on WVTM 13, NBC station in Birmingham. And you can get it in Tuscaloosa as well. And we're really excited. Sit down with Greg Byrne. We talked to Mark Steer's mom about, she's the superstar of it all recently. So we're doing that. And a lot of the cool stories. We have a guy we met randomly walking the streets. He's been to every NCAA tournament since '95, every round as well. So doing a story on him, just having some fun out here, and hopefully keep this thing going. And we got another game on Saturday.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If Alabama does make it, I didn't go to Spokane, and I did not go, obviously, to Los Angeles. But if they make it to the Final Four, I'll see you in Phoenix, pal.
I hope so, Gary. Maybe we can do this in person.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Appreciate it, man. See ya.
All right, 9:51. We got to take a break and come back and wrap up the first hour of the Gary Harris Show. Let me go ahead and tell you, I have put the plan together for the Krispy Kreme to begin our T-shirt and free donuts for a year giveaway. I've had, Evan Smith gave me the stuff 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then Justin was out last week, so I didn't want to do it when Justin was out. I've decided to start it tomorrow because it's a TGIF edition, and it's Friday, and if Alabama wins, we're going to be celebrating. If they don't win, we might need some donuts to make us feel better. So we're going to begin the giveaway tomorrow. So that's another reason to tune in tomorrow, our Krispy Kreme donuts giveaway. We're going to start giving away every week, at least for several weeks, a T-shirt, Krispy Kreme T-shirt, and more importantly, Krispy Kreme donuts for a year. How about that? So we'll do that tomorrow. All right, we'll be back to wrap up this first hour right after this.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of The Game, we'll feature Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. We'll take your score predictions for Alabama, UNC. We'll go live to L.A. Nick Kelly from the Tuscaloosa News. We'll also listen to Kalen DeBoer live following Alabama's first scrimmage at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That and a lot more starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program.
And more in-store and online today. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 3/18 through 3/29. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Since 2011, Billy's Sports Grill, located on Main Avenue in historic downtown Northport, has been serving their legendary signature chicken sandwich, award-winning wings, and handcrafted cocktails. Billy's is also the spot to watch all your favorite sporting events with big screen, high-definition televisions, both dining rooms, at the bar, and outside. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit PattersonComerLawFirm.com.
No representations made that legal services provided by Patterson Comer is greater than any other legal services performed by any other lawyer.
Los Tarascos has been serving Mexican favorites like burritos, fajitas, and quesadillas since 1999. Their new location is at 4100 Owen Parkway in Northport. And, of course, you can find Los Tarascos in Tuscaloosa at 110 Skyland Boulevard. The bar areas feature big screen television so you can enjoy your favorite sporting events. Los Tarascos features daily happy hour specials. And for the best Mexican cuisine in West Alabama, remember, the name is Los Tarascos with locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today, the high 67. Clear and cool tonight, the low 40. Tomorrow and Saturday, the warming trend continues. A good supply of sunshine both days. The high tomorrow 72, the high Saturday in the upper 70s at 78. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 53 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to The Gary Harris Show. On your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9. And streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, 9:56, perfect timing to wrap up this first hour. As I said before the break, Krispy Kreme Donuts giveaway tomorrow. And going to give away a T-shirt and donuts for a year, free donuts for a year. Can't wait to get that started tomorrow. Also tomorrow, of course, we'll know the result of the Alabama-North Carolina game, and as well as the Clemson-Arizona game. Also playing tonight, we've got San Diego State and UConn. I think that's going to be a heck of a game. I like UConn, but boy, San Diego State team is tough. Went to the championship game last year and right back in the Sweet 16 this year, and also Illinois and Iowa State tonight. That ought to be a heck of a game. So looking forward to it tonight for a big Thursday night of Sweet 16 basketball. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the first hour. It's been brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. Gary Harris and Justin Jones got another hour on the way. Hour number 2. And we're going to visit with Jeff Spiegel at 10:30. Also, we are going to get to that Nick Sheridan audio, which we did not get to run yesterday, but we will get it on. More of your phone calls as well. Keep it dialed in. Another great hour of sports talk coming up on the Gary Harris Show on Tide 100.9 FM and 1230 AM. WTBC,
Get the ROI you deserve at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Start now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
If you haven't already, you've got to try Tuscaloosa's unique breakfast, brunch, and lunch concept. Brick and Spoon, downtown Tuscaloosa, Timerson Square. It's fresh food with a Cajun flair featuring a full bar with build-your-own Bloody Marys and mimosas. Open daily, 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. Available
from his multiple Netflix specials, comedian Tom Segura brings his new tour, Come Together, to Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater Friday, August 30th. Tickets on sale Friday, 10 a.m. at tomsegura.com/tour.
Tuscaloosa's Old Colony Golf Course is an 18-hole championship layout designed by 1976 U.S. Open champion Jerry Pate. Director of Golf John Gray and fitting specialist Bob Montgomery are PGA certified. Mike Shivitz is the head professional and director of the Tuscaloosa Junior Golf Program. Call today to secure a tee time at the Tuscaloosa Championship Golf Course. Everyone can play. 205-562-3201. Old Colony is operated by Para.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Kevin Wyatt.
NBA action last night. Warriors and Magic. Golden State holds on to win at 101-93, and they unexpectedly had to play most of that game without Draymond Green.
The other side, Draymond is chasing the officials to the middle of the floor, and at some point, somebody's going to come in. Oh, he threw him out. He did it. I'm glad we didn't go to break. Ray Acosta, not here for it. Hit the road, Jack.
Magic Radio Network with the call. Draymond Green getting ejected after picking up his second technical foul, not even 4 minutes into the game. And Steph Curry visibly frustrated, shaking his head after Green was ejected. And after the game, he said, quote, "We need him. He knows that. We all know that." And in other action, the Nuggets fall to the Phoenix Suns 104-97. Kevin Durant with 30 points and 13 rebounds. And it's opening day today in Major League Baseball, 13 games on the slate.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
With the United Auto Workers aggressively attempting to unionize the Vance Mercedes plant, a bill filed by Decatur State Senator Arthur Orr would prohibit companies receiving state economic benefits from voluntarily recognizing a union. The University of Alabama and other colleges and universities in the state are stepping up to assist Birmingham Southern College students who will be without a school when BSC closes at the end of May. And Tide basketball coach Nate Oates believes a win tonight over North Carolina in the LA Regional would be a defining moment for the Tide.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. The Gary Harris Show. UCM host Tider Insider TV. Crimson Tide Kickoff. Play-by-play for Alabama sports and sports director for WVUA 23. It's time for the Gary Harris Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, here we go. Hour number 2 of the Gary Harris Show right here on Tide 100.9 FM and 1230 AM WTBC. Gary Harris, Justin Jones, another hour here on the program. We've got Jeff Spiegel at 10:30 coming up. Also, more of your phone calls this hour on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. And we listened to Nate Oates earlier in the program from out in Los Angeles. We visited with Ryan Hennessy, who's out there covering the game. And in this hour, we're going to get to Nick Sheridan that we did not run yesterday, the Alabama offensive coordinator, but also going to start off this segment with football because today is the first scrimmage of the spring, and it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we won't be able to watch it, but Coach DeBoer will meet with the media following the scrimmage to give us an update. I do want to touch on this, Justin, because we talked about it yesterday. Obviously, we don't know the severity of the injury yet. I'm hoping that Coach DeBoer will have an update, but very disappointing that Jalen Hale went down a couple of days ago in a shells practice. In other words, not full pads. And it goes to show you what we were talking about yesterday. You do all the things that you can for player safety, but when you're even in a shell situation, when you're running, you're stopping, especially as a receiver, in and out of cuts, you can. And I'm not saying this was non-contact because there is some contact with shells, but those receivers, the starting, the stopping, the cutting, I mean, you can easily have a non-contact injury. And Jalen Hale, we know, had a lower leg injury. We do know, I know, talking with some folks within the program, that an ambulance had to be called in. And as I was told yesterday, I'm told it's a significant leg injury. So you hate that. And you hope today in that scrimmage that you don't have any injuries. But it'll be interesting to see what Coach DeBoer says in the media session following the scrimmage. Justin, you've got another scrimmage, and then you've got 8A game. But this is the first time since he's been the head coach that they're going to be on the field at Bryant-Denny Stadium in a somewhat of a game environment. This is a big day for Alabama football. This will be spring practice number 8, so they'll be more than halfway through the 15 practices, the first scrimmage. Again, we won't be able to watch any of it, but what are you hoping when he meets with the media? Can't read his mind, and they haven't even held the scrimmage yet, but what do you think he will be looking for in the scrimmage, and how do you think that this team will perform, and what you think his feeling will be when we talk to him later on this evening?
Yeah, I think an update on Jalen Hale would be nice, but I don't expect anything, and I don't think we really need one either, just that we know it was severe, so he's going to miss a significant amount of time. I really just want to hear that the guys were out there competing, and that they were adopting to the new playbooks well and were able to run plays. It's still spring, and it's going to be interesting, like you said, too. We don't think about it much, but the players, like some of these early enrollees, this is going to be their first time on the field in a game-type scenario in Bryant-Denny, but this might also be, like you said, is the first time that Coach DeBoer is on the field in Bryant-Denny coaching like that. It's going to be interesting, but competing and adopting to the new playbooks is definitely my priority.
Let me ask you about this, and I haven't listened to it yet. But I did see, so I have not listened to the interview, but Zach Gelb did an interview with Kalen DeBoer, and there were some people on TiderInsider.com that were saying that DeBoer had said, they're going to have to tweak the offense a little bit. And I haven't listened to it in regards to Jalen Milroe. I've got it pulled up here. I'll send you the link. But I don't sense that at all. And again, I don't know that he said that for sure, but it was something that some people on the board were talking about at TiderInsider.com. I'll be interested, though, to hear what Coach DeBoer has to say about Milroe coming out. If you want to pull that up, Justin, and listen to it, I'm told it's about at the 6-minute mark. He asked about Milroe. Maybe we can just play it in a minute. Zach Gelb is with CBS Sports, right? And in fact, go ahead and while I'm talking about the scrimmage today, let me send you the link, and you can pull it up. And about the 6-minute mark, he asked about Milroe, and we'll just play the clip. That way we can listen to it together. I'm going to send it to you right now. Just send it to you in your phone. But you can find it on Twitter, X, Twix, whatever you want to call it. So we'll get that ready. But Zach Gelb from CBSSports.com interviewed Coach DeBoer and asked about Jalen Milroe, and there was some responses that I have not listened to the interview. So we're going to listen to the segment here in just a moment, where some people on the TiderInsider.com board took it that he was saying that Jalen Milroe, might not be able to run the complete offense. Now, I know how things get out of context on a message board, particularly with all the members that are there at Tider Insider. So I'm glad that I thought about that. So we're gonna find that, and Justin's gonna find that. But as far as the scrimmage today, and if you want to pass along your thoughts, 205-342-9904. As far as the scrimmage today, I'm kind of with Justin. It's just, you hope he comes in and he's able to say, listen, man, the effort was incredible. Everybody got after it. There are going to be mistakes, but that for the most part, it was clean. You got it ready to go. All right, here is Kalen DeBoer with Zach Gelb of CBSSports.com being asked about quarterback Jalen Milroe.
At his apex in your offense, how much better do you think he can be than what we got to see, which was a slow start but an impressive finish a year ago in year number one on the job?
Yeah, I think we got to make sure we do a good job, too, as a staff of working around his strengths. We just don't want to plug him into our system and, that be it. We need to adjust to who he is, and he's got some really strong strengths that he has that we need to use. And he's a home run hitter, not just with his arm, but with his feet. And that's exciting to us. I always think about those quarterbacks that you go against and the nightmares that they can give you as you're getting ready for that game throughout the course of the week. Well, he's that guy, and we need to, first and foremost, let him use the arm he has to get the ball and distribute it to the talent around him, the skill around him, but also let him play ball and not just make him one-dimensional.
All right, I'm so glad we played that clip. See, because I listen to that and I hear something completely different than some people heard. And I think sometimes your bias can impact the way you listen to something. And what I mean by that, if there is somebody listening to that interview that is maybe not as big a Jalen Milroe fan as I am, they may take from that and infer that, well, he can't run the offense. All I took that as is, listen, this is what coaches do, folks. They take what they do and they build around their personnel. The skill set that Jalen Milroe has is special. And the way I took that was Coach DeBoer just saying, listen, there's some things that he does that we want to emphasize. He's a home run hitter, not just with his arm, but with his legs too. So, Justin, I didn't take anything. I didn't have any negative connotations out of that clip. Did you?
No, I didn't either. I feel like we've heard this before, and I'm surprised some people took it negatively.
Yeah, some people took it and ran with it as he can't run the offense.
And which is strange because really what I got was Coach DeBoer saying the offense is Jalen Milroe. That's what we're building it around.
That's kind of the way I took it too. That's the kind of the way I took it too. You know, this isn't just a plug and play offense. And what I mean by that is we took what we did at Washington, we brought it here, and we plugged it in and said, you're going to do it. This is our offense built around the strengths of our quarterback. I took that as a very positive. But there were some last night when I was reading TiderInsider.com that took it as, well, we can't run the full offense. But that's, again, that was a minority of folks that said that. But sometimes you have people that hear things in a completely different way. But that was from the clip. And I took it as a positive. Yeah, I see Wyatt he's in there. He wants to chime in. That's fine.
I was just going to say, I feel like he's talking about he's got to add stuff to the offense because Milroe's a little bit more dynamic of a runner than maybe a Michael Penix was.
Yeah.
So you're adding things to already an offense that was really good.
If you don't want to use his legs some, then you're not using the whole package, because I'm not saying you run him all the time either. And they didn't run him all the time last year. But you run him enough that defenses have to prepare for that. So I think he's going to be dynamic in this offense. I'm excited about seeing what Jalen Milroe can do. And I'm excited to hear what Coach DeBoer has to say following this first scrimmage today. And I think all of you will be as well. And I think that this offense with Jalen Milroe, I do think he is going to expand his game. I have no doubt about that under Kalen DeBoer and Nick Sheridan. But I think this offense that Kalen DeBoer and Nick Sheridan have is going to be able to expand to some degree because of the athleticism and the package that they can put in to use Jalen Milroe's legs. And we see it in the NFL. We see it with Lamar Jackson. We see it with other quarterbacks. It's hard to defend guys that can run and throw. And Milroe can certainly do both. So today's a big day, big afternoon for Alabama football with the first scrimmage, Alabama basketball. And let's don't overlook Alabama baseball. I got a couple minutes here before we have to go to the break. And let me say this about this baseball team. I was pretty down last weekend because I watched that first game on Saturday, the doubleheader. I thought Alabama should have won that game. And they could have won the second game. So they could have won both those games. I thought they should have at least gotten a split. And then on Sunday, they had plenty of opportunities. But, yeah, it stings to get swept. It stings. So now you go from being 2-1 in the league to 2-4, and you've got to win this series to just get back to one game under 500. You'd have to sweep to get above 500. It's hard when you get swept. Boy, the numbers just tilt in the negative in a hurry. But this is a big series for Alabama baseball because it is at home. The weather's going to be good all 3 days. There are going to be no weather issues. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the weather's going to be great. And you're playing a really good team. I think South Carolina's number 10 in the country. So tonight is the series setter. I mean, whoever wins the game tonight then only has to split the last two games to win the series. So this is a huge game for Alabama tonight. It's a gigantic game. And there's going to be a little bit of a pitching change in regards to the way that this pitching staff goes out this weekend, in that Ben Hess is the Friday night starter, and he's going to remain the Friday night starter. Why is that significant? Well, I like keeping him at Friday night, but it means that he will not be pitching the first game tonight. That's what it means. It means that he will be pitching the second game. And normally he is your game one pitcher in your SEC series. But the pitching matchups, Zane Adams is going to go tonight against Eli Jones. Adams, the freshman lefty, will get the start for Alabama. Jones, a junior righty for the Gamecocks. Then tomorrow night, Ben Hess will go in his usual Friday night slot, but it'll be game two of the series. The big righty will be opposed by Dylan Eskew, a junior right-hander for Carolina. And then on Saturday, Greg Ferrone, the senior left-hander, will get the start for Alabama. Tyler Pitzer, a freshman right-hander, will get the start for South Carolina. So it'll be Zane Adams tonight getting the start in game one, crucial game one against South Carolina. So don't want to overlook baseball with the fact that football's got a scrimmage this afternoon and basketball's playing tonight in the Sweet 16, but this is a big baseball game tonight. It's a 7 p.m. first pitch, a 6 p.m. first pitch on Friday, and a 1 p.m. Oh, let me get this straight. Let me make sure I'm looking at this right. Yeah. You've got a 7 p.m. first pitch tonight, 6 p.m. first pitch tomorrow night, and 1 p.m. start on Saturday. So big game tonight. If you go to the baseball game, the basketball game is not going to start until scheduled to start at 8:39. It could be later, depending on what happens in that first game between Clemson and Arizona, but it'll be no earlier than that. You could listen on the radio to Chris Stewart and Brian Passy while you're at the baseball game, or you could catch, a good 5-6 innings of the baseball game and then go home and watch the basketball game. But I think it's important to have a big crowd tonight out there for that baseball game. All right, it's 10:15. It's time to get to a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to hear from the Alabama offensive coordinator, Nick Sheridan, who met with reporters. We've got him clipped up.
You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
As much as Innisfree has evolved, it will always be that place to escape and have a good time. Whether it's for a game day weekend, to reminisce on college days, or to create new memories, if you're looking for a good time, there's only one thing to do. Head to the Free at 1925 University Boulevard. And don't forget about the Lucky Lunch Meat and 3 special.
And rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today, the high 67. Clear and cool tonight, the low 40. Tomorrow and Saturday, the warming trend continues. A good supply of sunshine both days. The high tomorrow is 72, the high Saturday in the upper 70s at 78. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 56 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, 10:19. Welcome back into the Gary Harris Show. And Justin reminded me that I did not do Patterson Comer Attorneys at Law at the top of the hour, the second hour sponsor. So I want to do that right now. Patterson Comer is dedicated to serving our clients. Integrity and excellence are the driving force behind the firm and its staff. Clients and prospective clients are treated with respect and care. At Patterson Comer, we invite you to contact us with any questions concerning legal issues that are a result of a automobile accident, personal injury, wrongful death, product liability, 18-wheeler accident, or any legal questions that you might have, because our business is to take care of your needs. You can reach Paul in Tuscaloosa at 205-345-1000. Mike's in Northport at 205-759-3939. The commitment to serve our clients does not stop at the end of the workday. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. PattersonComerLawFirm.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of services performed by other lawyers.
All right, it is 10:20 on the Gary Harris Show. We're going to jump out on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline and welcome in our pal, Robbie Glenn, former Alabama baseball player. Probably got triggered a little bit when I was talking about the Crimson Tide baseball team getting swept last week. Good morning, Roddy. This past weekend.
Yeah.
Good morning, Robbie.
Yeah, good morning, Gary. Yeah, I hate we getting swept too, but I like the way we played, and I was wondering why we didn't throw Adam Tuesday, but now it makes sense. He's getting the big start tonight. I like the way he pitches.
Yeah,
obviously,
obviously they like the way he's pitching too, because he's getting that game one start tonight.
Yeah, I hope he can control his emotions like I hope Nick Pringle does tonight too. So big. It'd be cool if we do have a packed crowd, and do you think they could play the basketball game after the baseball game's over on the Jumbotron out there or something and have the fans stay around and enjoy it?
I don't know. I don't know.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, it would be cool if they did to kind of combine the two. So, but I think there'll be a lot of people that are at the baseball game. They'll have their radios with them too, so they can listen to Stewart and Passink on the call and enjoy the baseball game. Because as we said last weekend, going into Athens or any series, this first game it's always the tone setter. It's the big one, especially when you're at home. There's a lot of pressure. Now, I will say this: by getting swept last weekend, Alabama can certainly come back from it. But there's a lot of pressure to win this series this weekend, in my opinion.
Oh, it is. And finally got good weather. You're at home, throwing the freshmen out there, and then that gives Ben Hess Friday to actually see what these hitters got, study them, and come out with a big outing. He's been roughed up the last couple of Fridays, but battle's back. I mean, had that first inning bad with Georgia, which it was, and then just settled in and came back and gave him quality innings that should have won the game.
He was good after
like
that.
You said. Yeah, so I'm expecting good things tonight. Bama late, North Carolina. I hope we're ready to play. I know you got them in the bracket, and I hope you're right.
Well, they're going to be ready to play. I have no doubt about that. I think Alabama will be as ready to play a basketball game tonight as they've been all season. It's just going to come down to whether or not they're good enough and whether or not they can execute well enough. And obviously, you would like to have Latrell Wrightsell Jr. out there playing. He is a terrific shooter, can catch and shoot, can create his own shot off the dribble. But, it's the time of year where if he can't go, then somebody else has got to step out. Unfortunately, Davin Cosby, who is a guy who might be looked to step up in Wrightsell's absence, he's got a broken foot. So that's something that we haven't talked a lot about. He hasn't played a ton, but when he's remember in the Ole Miss game over there in Oxford, he played great that night. So they could be a little shorthanded, but, they've got good basketball players.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, I think a lot's going to come down to Nelson, too. Can he give us some points? Can he stay out of foul trouble? And can he hang on to the basketball? I don't know what it is. He seems to lose that basketball. He gets it slapped out of his hands or drop. I don't know if he's got weak hands, small hands, what, but just hang on to the ball. Don't get frustrated and hit some shots, and I think we'll be good.
Yeah, he's 6'10" or 6'11", so you wouldn't think he'd have small hands. But I know this. He's struggling. And you're right. Listen, he's limited a little bit when they put him down on the block defensively. And like I said, I don't see him trying to guard Baycoat tonight. But offensively, he should be a mismatch. I mean, he should be, with his ability to drive into the lane and create and be able to spot up and shoot a three with his height and his ability to run the floor and get out on the break. I mean, he should have double-digit points tonight. And I think if he does, that's going to help Alabama win that game. If he has 3 or 4 points again, he didn't even score a field goal against Grand Canyon. He had 3 free throws. So, he needs to give them something on offense. And Stevenson, I think, with him being from Chapel Hill, growing up near that campus, his mother was a great player for the North Carolina women's team. He's going to have something to prove, and he's a guy too at 6'10" that's similar to Nelson. I mean, he can shoot the three. So if Nelson can't step up, maybe Jared Stevenson will. And then you got Walters too, another one of those guys that. Is 6'10" and can shoot threes. So they got some weapons. They need one of those guys tonight to give them something offensively. And I'm not talking about 4 points or 6 points. I'm talking about 14, 15, 16 points.
Yes, definitely. And rebounds. Get in there, crash the boards, and get the second shots and third shots. And, that's you called it. They got to do it. They got to step up. Somebody does out of those 3, 4 that you just named. And it'll be a great game. And I don't think North Carolina's number one for a reason. They are awesome, but I mean, Brum gave them everything at Auburn, so they'll be able to see guys with athleticism big that they've already seen. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, there's nobody Alabama's going to play in this tournament that they're going to be intimidated by. And I'll say this, and this is not a knock on North Carolina, because I think North Carolina's like I said, a true blue blood. But of the number 1 seeds, if I'm Alabama, I would rather play North Carolina than I had UConn, Houston, or Purdue. That's just me. And I think Alabama's best matchup is against North Carolina than any of those other number 1 seeds. I just feel that way. And I know Baycoat is a load, and, R.J. Davis is a terrific player, and they got a lot of terrific players. But I feel good about tonight. We'll see. The proof's always in the pudding, and how we think or feel or has nothing to do with how the game's going to be played. But I like Alabama's chances tonight. I really do.
I do too. And, not looking ahead, but I also like us advancing, even though it's either Clemson or Arizona. Those two teams got to play each other, and they're physical. They're going to beat each other up tonight. So they're going to have to turn around and play, if it is Alabama, and run again fast. And that's after just a day rest. I don't know if you can keep up with Bama after you've been beat up playing against Clemson or Arizona. That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping. Let's get by North Carolina.
Yeah, win tonight, and then then you do hope that Clemson and Arizona beat each other up, and you get them on Saturday, and you win a game, and then you're like, wow, we are going to the Final Four. It is happening. Ever. Be incredible. All right, thank you, Robbie.
All right, thank you, Gary.
All right, it is 10:26 here on the Gary Harris Show. Also want to mention this. Bama on the PGA Tour is going to be busy again this week with the tournament out in Houston. The Texas Children's Houston Open, which is underway this morning. And Justin Thomas is not playing, but a lot of other Bama guys are. And, in fact, I'm just about to pull him up here because Aaron Jordan, Alabama Sports Information Director, sent out he always does the Bama and the PGA Tour preview. So this week from Alabama, you've got Nick Dunlap, who went off at 8:15 this morning. So I need to find his score. He's already on the course. Bud Colley goes off at 12:20. Davis Riley goes off at 1:04. Robbie Shelton goes off at 1:26. And Wilson Furr goes off at 1:59. So Dunlap is already about 2 hours in. Let me see before we hit this break. You got him up already, Justin? What's he doing?
He's through 8, and he's 1 over.
Not horrible, but not great. Yeah, there he is now. I'm gonna pull up his scorecard real quick here and see what he's done, as he has struggled since he started with a double bogey. Never ideal. He started on the back 9. He doubled 10 and bogeyed 11. Ouch. But he's come back to birdie 12 and 15. So he's fought back. But my gosh, man, let me look at the scorecard here to see what happened on 10. View play-by-play. Well, he didn't. He hit it into the rough. Then he hit a second shot. He was only 68.5 feet from the hole. He must have hit a terrible third shot, 36 feet into the front center greenside bunker. And then he got it out and left himself a 9-footer and missed it. So he made a double. And then on 11, which is a par 3, hit it in the bunker.
Back guarantee. Text support to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Covering University of Alabama sports, as well as the national and local scene as well. The Gary Harris Show, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Speaks time on the Gary Harris Show. Jeff Spiegel, longtime sports anchor, ABC 3340 in Birmingham, host of The Zone, and weekly contributor to the Gary Harris Show. And we got plenty to talk about this morning. What's up, Speaks?
Hey, Gary. How are you?
Doing well, my friend. Bama and North Carolina tonight in the NCAA West Regional Semifinal, Sweet 16 matchup there at Crypto.com Arena. The Tide trying to go where only one other Alabama team has ever gone, and that's to the Elite Eight, 2004, 20 years ago. Maybe that's a little positive vibe. And then if they win this game tonight and can win on Saturday, they'll go where no Alabama team's ever gone, and that's the Final Four. And you get the feeling, Jeff, that Nate Oates is going to get there. Herb Jones' team I thought was good enough to go and didn't make it. Obviously, the Brandon Miller team. This team maybe not quite as talented overall as those two teams, but they're still playing. Maybe this is the year, Jeff. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think, certainly there's a possibility, they could do it. I think one of the cool things that Nate Oates has done is that, in the non-conference schedule, he's played all these elite programs. So, when you take the floor with the North Carolina, you've been on the floor with North Carolina. You've beaten North Carolina. You've been on the floor with Arizona and all these other guys. So, nothing is really going to, phase these guys. So, once you get past the jersey, and you're not intimidated by the jersey, and certainly Alabama's not, after playing all these programs like this, then it's just a matter of how well you can execute and how well you can defend. And they defended very well, I think for 40 minutes, against Grand Canyon, which was, Gary, the most chaotic, ragged, rough and tumble basketball game I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's up there.
So when you survive something like that, now you're playing a team that actually runs some offensive sets. Now you're playing a team, that's got some skilled guys, You know, now you're playing a team that plays more like you. They like to get it up and down the court, and you know, this is kind of more in their wheelhouse. I think Alabama was really uncomfortable, you know, in that game Sunday. But having said that, you know, they did the things they needed to do to survive that and get past that game. Mo Diabate was just amazing down the stretch. And that's what happens in these tournament games. You know, you have guys, you know, you have unsung heroes, you know, all year who come up big in situations like that. And, you know, we'll see who the hero is going to be tonight.
If Latrell Wrightsell Jr. can't go and Cosby's already out with a broken foot, I think Wrightsell's their best three-point shooter. I mean, Sears is the best player, but I think Wrightsell can catch and shoot, quick release, can get his shot off his dribble. How much will that impact this game tonight if he's not able to play, in your opinion?
Well, that's really going to hurt, you know, because, you know, they need that shot. They need plus, you know, he can, you know, as you mentioned, you know, off the drive, you know, that beautiful left-handed layup he hit the game, you know, Sunday was incredible. And yeah, they need him. And, but, you know, but I think, you know, I think they can get the job done without him, but certainly, you know, you're talking about a guy, you know, who Nate Oates says is the best shooter he's ever coached. And so, you know, you need him to be out there. And not only that, not only do you need him to be out there, you need him to be 100% out there. You know, he's got to play significant minutes, and he's got to be healthy enough to play significant minutes. And they're not going to risk it, you know, if he can't do that. So if he can't, you know, be 100% healthy and put in minutes, that's certainly going to hurt them. But, you know, this is a North Carolina team that's got plenty of dudes. R.J. Davis, Harrison Ingram, you know, Baycott's going to be a problem inside. So you need all hands on deck. And if you don't have all hands on deck, then you need someone to come out and play at a higher level than they played before, similar to what, you know, Diabate did in the game against Grand Canyon.
Jeff Spiegel with us. 8 SEC teams went into the tournament. Only 3 advanced to the second round, 2 to the Sweet 16, Alabama and Tennessee, the 2 teams that really played very poorly in the SEC tournament. Not a great showing for the SEC overall, but maybe Tennessee or Alabama makes a run to the Final Four. But what did you think of the conference after kind of beating their chest all year, you know, saying we're as good as anybody in college basketball? And I think that's the case. I hate that the NCAA tournament is such a barometer for how, you know, conferences do, but it is. And the SEC laid a little bit of an egg early on, didn't they, Jeff?
Well, and I think the 2 disappointments certainly were Kentucky and Auburn. I mean, Kentucky losing to the Horizon League champ, and then Auburn losing to the Ivy League champ. And, you know, it was unfortunate that Chad Baker-Mazara had to perform a selfish act, you know, 3 minutes into the game and whack the Yale guy with an elbow. And I understand, you know, it was a retaliation thing, but, you know, you got to have a cool head, man, when you're playing in games like this. And you take a guy who's a double-digit scorer who can also create, you know, some offense for other guys, and you lose him. Now, granted, you know, and Gary, you're going to tell me that Auburn should have beaten Yale anyway, and they should have. But when you lose a guy like that 3 minutes into the game, I mean, you're hurting your team, and so that to me, the 2 biggest disappointments of the NCAA tournament so far, you know, come from the SEC, Kentucky and Auburn.
I agree with you 100%. And then, you know, it didn't help that you know, Mississippi State got blown out by Michigan State. Mississippi State was a team that was thought to be playing well going into the tournament. And, of course, Florida getting, you know, their center getting hurt. So there was some bad breaks for the SEC. But getting back to Auburn, I thought that they did kind of not get an ideal seed for the fact that they had won the SEC tournament. They had finished tied for second in the regular season. But at some point, I think they let that hurt them. And I'm right. You're right. The ejection, you know, killed that team for that game. But still, I don't think they would have beaten San Diego State in the second round. And they let the fact that they were being shipped off to Spokane and that they were a 4 seed, and they let that kind of become an issue for them. And I thought that they lost sight of what the job was to do, which was to go win the game. That's kind of the way I saw it, Jeff. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, there was way too much whining beforehand about the seed and about the location. Pack your bags and go, and play the game, right? I mean,
exactly.
I don't think you heard Nate Oates complain much about going to Spokane, and you got to play. You got to play these games. It shouldn't matter where you play the games. I mean, first of all, there was a time when, Auburn was just happy to get in the tournament. And now, you're kind of complaining about your – I think it put a whole negative vibe, like, on the week. And certainly I don't think the players were affected by this. But it just it just got the week off, I think, to a really bad start in terms of just a vibe, for Auburn that you want your team coming into to a tournament game with.
I'm with you. I thought they kind of just lost sight of what they were there to do. But for Alabama, it doesn't matter. Alabama's playing. All right, Jeff, your scouting report for tonight and your prediction for the game between Alabama and North Carolina.
Well, I think, certainly last November when they played, and Alabama won a classic in 4 overtimes. Certainly, they had Brandon Miller, but there are a lot of characters, that played in that game. Sears, Pringle, Griffin, R.J. Davis, Armando Bacot. And Bacot is going to be a big problem, for Alabama. Pringle is going to have to play incredibly well. Grant Nelson's going to have to step up his game. I think this is a game that Alabama could win. I don't think it's a game that Alabama will win. I think it's going to be North Carolina winning. I'm going to say probably 5 to 7 points. I think it'll be a very competitive game, but I think Carolina gets it done.
I hear you. What about Tennessee? Well, it's kind of ironic to me that the two teams left, Alabama and Tennessee. You take out Arkansas that came into the league in '92, and I understand Florida's won 2 national championships, and Auburn's been to a Final Four, Mississippi State's been to a Final Four, and so forth and so on. But as far as consistency and performance, LSU's been to 3 Final Fours. But if you add up regular season championships, tournament championships, number of total wins in the history of the programs, Alabama and Tennessee are the 2 most successful programs behind Kentucky. Yet neither one have been to a Final Four, which is kind of remarkable. What do you think of Tennessee's chances of making it this year?
I love Tennessee's chances. I looked at them as a Final Four team, several weeks ago, even before the brackets came out. Certainly Rick Barnes, in many people's eyes, is underachieved, when it comes to potential of his teams heading into the NCAA tournament and how they kind of let some folks down. But I think this is the year they get it done. I think Dalton Connect and that defense will rise to the occasion and get a couple more wins and get there.
All right, Jeff, let's talk a little football. Bama scrimmages this afternoon. DeBoer will meet with reporters after that scrimmage. You get the scrimmage, you got another scrimmage, and you get the 8A game. So this is the 8th practice. We're winding down toward 15, which will be 8A. How important do you think this first scrimmage is in terms of the development of the team this spring?
Well, I think it's big, and I think this whole spring is big. When you're talking about a coaching transition, these 15 practices are just incredibly important, in terms of guys getting used to the coaches, getting used to the way they're coached, coaches finding out, who these guys are and who can produce for them and who can play for them. And, I think Nick Sheridan, kind of put it best, it's all about competition, but it's also about comprehending and learning the systems. And, with Milroe and then the offensive line, he feels like if they can just, grasp these systems and techniques and fundamentals and all that, that's just a great springboard going into fall. So I think whenever you have a coaching transition, I think the 15 spring practices are just crucially important in terms of getting on the right page heading into fall.
Yep, I do too. Down southeast of here at Auburn, because, again, I kind of turn to you because I don't cover them that closely. What's been a key storyline or two that's come out of Auburn spring ball? What have you been paying attention to down there?
Well, I think certainly it's the quarterback situation. Peyton Thorne, Hugh Freeze seems to be pretty confident that it's, Peyton Thorne's job to lose. They've got some transfer players who are coming in there who could make an impact. We talked about Sam Jackson the fifth yesterday, the transfer from Cal, who played high school ball with Thorne in the suburban Chicago area, and there are some guys who are coming in who could be key pieces that maybe we don't know about yet. But again, that's another important thing about these new guys who are coming in and how they adapt to this system. And then it's all about. He's got the new coordinators coming in. Nick's the OC, DJ Durkin, the DC, and Kelly coming in, and how quickly those guys, adapt to these new coaches, and just how smooth that transition is. Whenever you have a staff turnover like they've had, certainly, as we mentioned with Alabama, the spring sessions for them, are really important too. But I think it all starts with Peyton Thorne and how he's got to be much more efficient than he was a year ago. And I think Kent Austin, the quarterback coach, is a guy he's comfortable with. And I think we'll see how that comfort level pays off into production on the field.
All right, Jeff, XFL and USFL combining. Stallions won the two championships in the USFL. They're getting ready to crank it up. Birmingham Stallions are, with the leagues combining. Skip Holtz is back as the head coach. What's the expectation for the Stallions this spring?
I think the expectations are pretty high. I mean, I think Skip is, very positive. I think he's got a two-time two-time USFL champ going against the XFL champ. It's the marquee game, in the first week on the schedule. And this is the one they want the most eyeballs on. And I think there's some great players out there. And they're also, kind of unsettled at quarterback. They've had Jamar Smith the past couple of years, but, Holtz is, very happy with the way Adrian Martinez and Matt Corral, have played in camp. And he's trying to figure out what two quarterbacks he's going to play, in that opener. And, but certainly Martinez and Corral have proven that, they've been really pushing Jamar, and Jamar's had some health issues the past couple of years. And I think that those two guys are going to be, very key when it comes to the Stallions season.
Great stuff as always, Jeff. And fill the listeners in on where they can find you on social media. Of course, nightly on ABC 3340 with the local sportscast. And Sunday night, of course, is kind of the crescendo for the week with The Zone.
Absolutely. Sunday at 10:30 on ABC 3340. Gary, I really appreciate your time, and thanks for the plug.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, 10:47. We'll take our final time out. Before we do, though, I do want to mention to you that prom season's here. You guys out there want to look your best for your date, for your family, for those pictures. Get by and see Tom at T-Town Menswear and T-Town Gallery University Mall. From a traditional look to as flashy as you want to be, Tom can get you the prom outfit, suit, tux, whatever it is that you
100% satisfaction and appointments set around your schedule. Give us a call for all your steam cleaning needs. 205-553-9460. Houston Hydro Steam. Quality work you can stand on. Los Tarascos has been serving Mexican favorites like burritos, fajitas, and quesadillas since 1999. Their new location is at 4100 Owen Parkway in Northport. And, of course, you can find Los Tarascos in Tuscaloosa at 110 Skyland Boulevard. The bar areas feature big screen television so you can enjoy your favorite sporting events. Los Tarascos features daily happy...
Snapshot, even left-handed Capricorns with proper email etiquette could get rewarded for good driving. So download the Progressive app today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
Life doesn't wait for when your finances are in perfect order. It just happens. But no matter what surprises come your way, Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages, and auto loans. They offer an easy application process and fast decisions so you can stay focused on feeling good about whatever life brings your way. Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages, and auto loans. Alabama Credit Union, loans for real life. Visit alabamacu.com to learn more. Some rules and restrictions apply. See if you're eligible for membership, then join today and feel good about your money.
Company.
Since 2011, Billy's Sports Grill, located on Main Avenue in historic downtown Northport, has been serving their legendary signature chicken sandwich, award-winning wings, and handcrafted cocktails. Billy's is also the spot to watch all your favorite sporting events with big screen, high-definition televisions, both dining rooms, at the bar, and outside on the beautiful patio. Come by and say hello to Kim and Lisa, the Billy's Management Dream Team. Billy's, good food, good friends, and good time.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today, the high 67. Clear and cool tonight, the low 40. Tomorrow and Saturday, the warming trend continues. A good supply of sunshine both days. The high tomorrow is 72, the high Saturday in the upper 70s at 78. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 57 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Catch every game and every moment right here. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, 10:51. Welcome back into the Gary Harris Show. First and Main condominiums are a beautiful luxury condominium complex in beautiful historic downtown Northport. 30 units, 3 floors, 10 units per floor. Beautiful views, incredible location. You have to see these condos to believe them. 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath. So, again, check them out at First and Main Condos.com. That's firstandmaincondos.com. And I think you're going to agree with me that they are beautiful. And those river views, Black Warrior River views, are incredible. I like it so much. That's where I live. firstandmaincondos.com. All right, Justin, before we close this show out, I'm doing something. By the way, go to WVUA 23 Gary Harris and follow me if you don't mind, because I'm up to 6,000 followers, and on Twitter, I think I'm closing in on 9,000. That's at Gary Harris _WVUA. But a lot of social media content that I'm putting out. And on Facebook, a while ago, Justin, I've already had, 29 responses. Ahead of the game tonight, I asked the question, who is your all-time favorite Alabama basketball player? I'll start. And I posted 3 pictures of Reginald Mule King, who played 1977 through 1979 at Alabama, and was a tremendous player. Played in the NBA with the Kings and the Sonics, and was a 6'6" force of nature, about 240, 50 pounds. Could post up on the baseline and had a little, what you'd almost call like a little push shot, a little half hook shot, but was phenomenal. So go to WVUA 23 Gary Harris, follow me, and let me know who your favorite Alabama basketball player is all time. Now, that's one guy, but some of my other favorites, since I've really been watching Alabama basketball since the mid-'70s. Wendell Hudson was probably really the first great player that I was familiar with. Charles Cleveland, Leon Douglas. I still tell you that 76 team, to me, is the greatest team in Alabama history, with Leon, Ricky Brown, Reggie King, T.R. Dunn, and Anthony Murray. Had Keith McCord coming off the bench, Greg McKelvin. That was a team that almost beat Indiana, which went undefeated that year. The last unbeaten NCAA champion, Indiana Hoosiers, 1976. But some of my other favorite players include Eddie Phillips, Enos Watley, Buck Johnson, Derek McKee, James Robinson, Robert Ory, Latrell Sprewell, Antonio McDyess, who I covered in high school when I was over at WTOK in Meridian. He played at Quitman. Derek McKee played at Meridian High School, but played before I actually worked over there. Sprewell, McDyess, Williams, Mo Williams, Rod Grizzard, Gerald Wallace, who we had on yesterday. Rod Grizzard, who we had on either yesterday or 2 days ago. Erwin Dudley, Richard Hendricks, Herb Jones, Brandon Miller, Mark Sears, right up until today. But it's a fun discussion, and when you start thinking about your favorite player, Justin, you start realizing how many great players Alabama basketball's had. And as we've talked about, probably to the point of some people just getting fatigued with it, Alabama's done everything you can do in college basketball other than make it to a Final Four. And, well, obviously they haven't won a national championship because you have to make it to the Final Four. But, that's what the beauty of the Final Four is. And you and Wyatt both are listening to me. You might want to talk about it on T-Town Sports Daily. The Final Four is like a championship in its own right. Now, yeah, you want to win the national championship once you get there, but quote unquote, making it to a Final Four. You hang a banner for the Final Four. So the national championship is really just gravy, and it is the ultimate. But making it to the Final Four is so big for your program. And as I continue to point out all the great things that Alabama basketball has done, and even going back before I started following Alabama basketball, you go back to, the Rocket 8, 1955-56 with head coach Johnny D. Some of the great teams that Alabama had years and years ago. But the lack of a Final Four just hangs over your program, particularly when you look at some of the programs that aren't even close to Alabama's caliber that have made it. So maybe this is the year. Maybe it's this team where Nate Oates had to roll over the roster, where he lost 2 first-round draft picks, including the second overall pick. He lost Charles Bediako to the NBA. He had Quinterly transfer out, Burnett transfer out. He lost his entire coaching staff. And he's had to come back and retool the roster, retool the coaching staff. Maybe this will be the team that breaks the door down and gets to the Final Four. It all starts tonight. Got to win tonight to get to Saturday. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the show. This hour has been brought to you by Patterson Comer Attorneys at Law. We got T-Town Sports Daily with Wyatt and Justin coming up at 11 a.m. The Miller's Edge, noon until 2. And then Ryan Fowler will take you home with the game from 2 until 6. I'll be back tomorrow morning with the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show. We're going to have fun, including starting our Krispy Kreme Donuts giveaway. We'll start that tomorrow. You'll want to stay tuned to Friday morning. Catch me on TV tonight with the local sports on WVUA 23. Have a great day, everybody. It's beautiful outside. I'll talk to you in the morning at 9 a.m. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the